Good afternoon, and it's good to be back. Yes, this is a midpoint. We are on to our fifth episode. What's important and what's interesting is we've had some lovely friends amongst our student community that we've picked up along the way. And no, they're not just winners of the quizzes or of the best engager of the day or anything else or asking the brightest questions. They are people who have written in, have engaged, have commented, and kept our morale, my team and I, all of us enthused enough to bring you a new show after week with new learnings and also a little bit of advice from a seasoned professional and a little bit of fun to know which of you has done well to win all those prizes. So with that, I think we can kickstart our today's show. And what do we have? A lot. And that's going to be something which is coming up on your screen. So as you know, the How To Festival is brought to you by Locator. Locator is both your knowledge partner and the online material museum. I'll be talking about that later. We have the privilege of being partnered with by many brands in the building industry, from products in the building industry. But the one partner that we have to highlight especially is LIC, who have been a strong support because LIC believes in Generation Next. LIC believes in your future, and we are very happy to have them help us through this journey. First and foremost, welcome to the students from our top 20 colleges in India. And that's no mean achievement to be part of the top 20, namely in alphabetical order: Amity, Bharati Vidyapeeth, BIT, BMS College of Architecture, CCA from Chandigarh, IES from Mumbai, ITM from Raipur, Jamia Millia from New Delhi, Malviya National Institute of Technology, MNIT from Jaipur, NIT from Raipur, Rachna Sansad, Rizvi College, RV College, RVCA. We are going to be seeing them today and learning about them a little bit more. SCET College, School of Planning and Architecture, JNAFU, Sihangat College, Sir JJ College, Architecture, Mumbai, Shushant, Thakur School, Vaishnavi. And we will be hearing about Vaishnavi too. So all of you lovely students who've been journeying with us on the How To Festival, let's hear it for your college. Come on, hit the comment box, and I want to see your fingers fly because you also got not just the best engagers, but we want you to feel proud of your college. So go ahead and let the comments come in. For those who are joining in, for those who don't know, Locator from 1995 to 2015, during our 25 years existence, was this, what you see on screen. On the extreme left is that thick, fat tome of over 1,000 pages, which contain all kinds of product information, technical specs. But when the world moved digital 5 years ago, we were happy to introduce Locator India in its digital avatar. This is a screenshot of the homepage. And from 2015 onwards, it was an online material museum. Now, a material museum which is replete with 187 product categories, 1,800 plus products. There's information on technical specs, contact details, and more. All of it specially curated for the architect community on www.locatorindia.com. Do make it a point to visit it right after the show and every time that you need product information. What else did we do in our 25 years? We took the high ground and we launched India's unique trust mark, which is powered by Locator, but it was the expert's choice, ranked by leading architects and designers. Who better than architect designers to put a sikka and say, this is a product which we consider to be the best of the stable. And you too, my dear friends, as and when you start practicing, will get an opportunity to vote. It's a very easy to do process. It's on an app. and you as expert users will be joined back on this platform. What's in it for you? This festival, other things. Some of you know, some of you don't. So for those who don't, do not forget that you are entitled to a certificate of participation, which is your gateway to Campus Hunt. Because you have a certificate, you can be part of a Campus Hunt. We will be opening up Campus Hunt shortly. You'll get information on your WhatsApp, the process, how you can get yourself registered so that architect firms can look you up and, well, may the handshakes begin. You also get access to information on Archive Lifelong, which is because of your certificate of participation. And of course, during the show, you will get to win all these lovely prizes, which I'm going to announce from time to time. First and foremost, last time we had our congratulatory band, but I think you couldn't hear them. So without any further ado, let's hear it for the winners. Wow, I love it. And you winners of the fourth episode, you have been specially commissioned with the tuba and the clarinet and the horns and the drums because Mudit Jain, Jaslin Sikhon, Batul Hussain, and Sejal Parekh, you were the quiz winners of our last episode, which, as you know, was a very, very engaging one on fenestration. And here are the top engagers of that episode, which was, there you have in no particular order, Pratyaksha Chavan from BIT, Abhay Garg from Thakur. Hello, Abhay. Once again, Siddhi Sangai. He's been, by the way, Abhay has been there, top engager in all four. Good luck to him to be so for all 10 episodes. Siddhi Sangai, Avneet Kaur. And who were the inquiring minds that deserved recognition? The most inquiring minds, as in the quality of the questions, not just the quantity, which is Ayushri Baldwa, Sridhar Nashimachari, Avneet Kaur, Anamika Thauta. Keep going at it, folks. You deserve what you get, and you will deserve to get more. And that's the opportunity on the How To Festival. Coming to the section where we introduce you to colleges that you've not had the privilege of visiting this year, your own college. So maybe for nostalgia, maybe for reasons that you love your college. And I want to see that comments box going whoopee for RVC College of Architecture. RVC College of Architecture was started in 1992 in Bengaluru. RVC College of Architecture brings together three major aspects of the architectural profession, namely academics, research, and consultancy. The institute has a master's program, MArch, in urban design since 2006. It is headed by Professor Dr. O.P. Bhavane and has a competent core faculty and eminent visiting faculty. We welcome Dr. O.P. Bhavane to the show. Thank you for being with us. And students, here are a few words from Dr. O.P. Bhavane.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Om Prakash Bhavane, Principal, RV College of Architecture, Bangalore. Today, I am very pleased and feel privileged to extend very warm welcome to the organizers of this very educative festival, How To version 2, and all the students, faculty and the professionals who are today present at this particular platform. I would like to extend my hearty compliments to the organizers of this festival for doing such a great service to the students for the cause of learning. RV College has been associated with the organizers of the How To Festival since 2018, and during that particular year, we had the privilege of organizing How To Festival in our own campus. The program was a great success. Lot of experts had participated and they had interacted with the students and the faculty who were greatly benefited at the end. RV College of Architecture is always available there to extend their support to such educative events and the programs. On behalf of the management, behalf of the principal, myself, and their faculty, I extend all the support and all best wishes for the success of this particular program. I am sure that all the participants, the students and the faculty will be greatly benefited at the end of this event.
Dr. Bhavane,
thank you very much.
We are so privileged to have you and your institute with us, your great RV College of Architecture. And this is the commemorative plaque, salver, which is coming your way. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dr. Bhavane is the senior-most professor of architecture in Karnataka. He is an alumnus of NIT Bhopal and IIT Roorkee. He specializes in areas of climatic design, building services, and quality management in construction. Dr. Bhavane has also been the chairman of the Board of Studies in Architecture. Thank you very much. That's from all your past students and those who are passing out this year, Dr. Bhavane, as we move on to the second college, featured college of the day, which is Vaishnavi School of Architecture and Planning from Hyderabad. Vaishnavi School is offering undergraduate program in the field of architecture. VSAP aspires not only to train competent intellectuals, but also to increase the students' sensitivity to emotional, spiritual, and aesthetic dimensions. I have great pleasure in welcoming Professor Ramaswamy to the show. Professor Ramaswamy graduated in architecture from the College of Engineering, Trivandrum in 1985 and did his master's in architecture, which is in conservation, from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. He was awarded the Charles Wallace Trust from UK, Masters of Arts in Conservation from the Institute of Advanced Architectural Studies, University of York. He's a consultant to many prestigious architectural and conservation heritage projects. Get a load of this: the Thanjavur Palace restoration, the David Hall restoration, Fort Kochi Heritage Zone, Trivandrum Fort Area Conservation, CIB Building Restoration, St. Mary's Church, Secunderabad, and the Income Tax Guest House in Hyderabad. Mr. Ramaswamy is a member of various professional bodies, including IIA, Council of Architecture, INTAC, and the Indian Society of Technical Education. Thank you for being on the show. Let's give a listen to Mr. Ramaswamy.
All the students of architecture who have assembled here from the management and staff of Vaishnavi School of Architecture and Planning, Hyderabad and Vijayawada. Myself, Professor Ramaswamy Iyer, Principal, Vaishnavi School of Architecture and Planning, Hyderabad. It gives me immense pleasure today to be a part of this program, and I take this opportunity to thank the organizer of the program, Locator, for providing me an opportunity to share the dais with you. In the past years, Locator has been associated with Vaishnavi School of Architecture and Planning in conducting this program in our campus, and I should say our students were immensely benefited by this program. Architecture students, it is important to know about the various products and materials what is available in the market, and it is through these materials and products they shape their dreams into reality. Today, in the era of internet, every information is available at the touch of a button, but here Locator takes you a step ahead by providing a virtual platform wherein the product manufacturer introduces the material and talk about the features of the product, and the students through interactive session clarify their doubts with the product manufacturers. I am sure all the students are going to have a very informative and interactive webinar sessions ahead, and I take this opportunity to congratulate in advance the organizer of the program, Locator, for the successful completion of this program.
Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy, for those lovely words. Vaishnavi School of Architecture and Planning will receive the Salva, which is celebrating our Silver Jubilee year, and slam dunk, as I always like to say. Right, it's time now to welcome our brand partner of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, if it were not for these wonderful, big, celebrated brands, this festival would not happen. You would not be the recipient of information. I had the pleasure of talking to some of your class reps just yesterday on a Zoom call, and I was told that the learning is substantial and they really value it. So I hope, may the learning continue, as they say. And today it's going to be through Dr. Fixit, who are a leading brand in waterproofing, and they call themselves the waterproofing experts. But well before that, what's coming up, the more interesting, I can't say more, but an interesting part. Are you ready to win these amazing Amazon GVs? Rupees 1,000 worth Amazon GVs each go to 4 best engagers during the 1 hour. Do I see your fingers flying on the comment section already? Asking questions. By the way, you can ask questions even in advance. You don't have to wait for the speaker. You need to know something about waterproofing. Whether it's answered or not, you can ask the questions and it will be answered. 4 best questions to the brand champ. These are coming to you for the bright questions that you ask, and 4 quiz winners who get the all correct entries. The quiz is going to come up after the presentation, during the presentation, and it'll close immediately after the presentation. So please be quick enough, because you have to be fastest finger first to skid in and be one of the 4 to win it. All of this can happen via the Facebook link, which is pinned to comments. With that, I'd love to welcome Ms. Seema Shamshetty, Assistant Manager Training, Dr. Fixit Institute of Structural Protection and Rehabilitation. Ms. Seema Shamshetty has more than 9 years of experience in the waterproofing and repair industry. She is a civil engineer by qualification. She has a post-graduation in Advanced Construction Management from NIC-MAR. In addition, she has done specialized certificate courses on waterproofing membranes and application technology from the National Roofing Contractors Association, USA. And as a faculty in the Training Institute, she has delivered more than 300 training programs. That makes her a veritable expert on the subject. Trust me, she's going to be taking you on a knowledgeable journey. And here she is.
Good afternoon, friends. So glad to be here in front of you for this How to Festival 2.0 version. And on this occasion of Silver Jubilee of Locator India, I congratulate Mr. Ramesh and Ms. Amita for their bright future with this in their association with the Pidilite Industries Limited. I am Seema Samshette here associated with the Pidilite Industries Limited and giving you the glance about this waterproofing practices and knowledge for as per the architectural aspects. So we'll start with this as a holistic approach to waterproofing as building envelope as per the architectural aspects of the buildings. So as an architecture is an art which gives the buildings and the buildings speaks themselves itself. So at the initial and the new stage, the buildings look beautiful, but during the service stage of life, the building scenario changes with the time, and we can see the some of these views of the buildings, like from the external as well as from the internal side, that the fixing of these mechanical units and the peeling of paint or discoloration of paint, etc., from the external side, as well as from the internal side, we can also see this dullness of paint and the blistering and the dampness inside the building structures. So why this happens? These are the main problems because arises from the water or the moisture ingress inside the building. So these are the factors, some of the factors which leads to the distresses. One is at the formative stage itself, while we are designing the structural designs and the architectural design of the project itself, and one is at the during the construction phase of the structures. So at the time of concreting, then there's some of the kinds of voids formation or the crack formations at the concrete practices. And similarly, during the service life of the structure, it also leads to this formation of this environmental conditions. So that's our rain cycle, winter cycle, and the summer cycle. This monsoon changes or the seasonal changes also affects on the building services. Similarly, it's also have this man-made changes to the building structures as well as the natural calamities, earthquakes, and the floods. So let's see how this waterproofing is required for the building structures to give a proper protection structures. So I'll just show you a small video. Still we do this waterproofing as a conventional practice. And some of the practices are also leading to this another leakage and the dampness problems. I'll just show you some small AV on front of you.
It takes years of design and planning to construct a strong building. Unfortunately, not much has changed about waterproofing. Conventional methods like brick-bat coba and China mosaic are often considered sufficient, but weather can be unforgiving. Rapidly changing weather and temperatures throughout the day put a lot of stress on the building. This harsh weather adversely impacts the concrete structure and weakens the building. Water can be an extremely destructive force. It can slip through the tiniest cracks, cutting its way through every crevice that could be found percolating through the concrete and destroy everything in the path. And when it enters a house, it damages the ceiling, walls, floors, and the interiors. But it is possible to stop all this damage from happening. Let's go back. Dr. Fixit has a range of waterproofing solutions to completely protect your building from this devastation. We have also introduced on-site training programs for applicators which help in maintaining a superior and consistent quality of work. A mobile app to provide instant information on the go, a website with an array of information on waterproofing for new construction as well as repair. The website also has a live chat to solve all waterproofing related queries.
This is to all my builder and architect friends. See, you have created structures in your cities and built a reputation through years of hard work. Today, Dr. Fixit is committing itself to partner you in making sure that your creations pass the test of time and become the benchmark for future generations.
So the water is the main constructive as well as the destructive force inside our building structures. It's a main element that required for the construction as well as for the destruction purpose. So to protect from the moisture ingress, we need to do this waterproofing, and the treatment has to be given to the building structures to protect the water ingress from under the hydrostatic pressure. And the applications should be the waterproofing systems to be applied from the substructural elements to the superstructural elements, all the surface areas of the building elements. Now let's see how to do this, the waterproofing. Now the waterproofing, it's also it's having the two categories. One as an integral waterproofing and the second one as a layer waterproofing. These two categories are most important. One is at the time of making of your building structures, that is nothing but the concrete mass. So that integral waterproofing compound has to be used at the time of making the concrete, mortar or the plaster material. And these are to be mixed with the cement content itself. And which reduces the shrinkage crack formations during this your concrete practices, and as well as it increases the strength of the structures. So this is the main part of making of your strong concrete. And the second one is that to protect your concrete structure throughout the service life, or to protect the structure from the environmental conditions, we need to provide as a jacket or a kind of a protective layer in the form of layer waterproofing system. This has to be applied in the form of coating, preformed membrane applications, and there are some of the joints in the buildings that has to be sealed properly. So these are the three major categories comes under the layer waterproofing systems, which provides the external physical waterproofing barrier, as well as it also covers the thermal crack formations inside this concrete mass. So that's why this layer and integral waterproofing compound ensures the complete waterproofing systems, and to make as a building envelope or the long life of the service life of building structures, we should have to follow the good construction practices as well as the effective waterproofing system applications. So which gives a leak-free structures. So these are the waterproofing principles and the facts related to this. When we consider as a life cycle analysis of the structure, it has a principle called 80-2 principle. So this 2 stands for the 2% is the total waterproofing material cost of your total project cost. That much your requirement for the initial stage itself. But if we do not consider this at the initial stage, it leads to your 80% cost for the repairs of the project during the service or the during service span of building. And 18% are related to the other factors. Similarly, as a life cycle analysis, we should also have this as a failure analysis of the waterproofing systems. So it's also having a principle of 90-2 principle. This again, the 2% remains for your waterproofing system material selection, and the 90% is their application of these materials. So this is the one part is important as well as for your system material selection and their application, and this 8% for the other factors. So which gives you the consider total idea about this waterproofing practices, their principles and their life cycle and the cost analysis of the project itself.
It's quiz time, and quiz time, as you know, is your time. Get ready finger on the comments box. The quiz is going to get popped in, and you get to win these 4 amazing gift cards from Amazon, 1,000 rupees each. Here's your first quiz question number 1. What is waterproofing? As basic as that. Option 1, it is a coating or additive that prevents seepage of water. Option 2, a system that allows for chemicals to be coated or added to concrete. Option 3, a treatment provided under hydrostatic pressure to prevent passage of water in a structure. And option 4, a method that eliminates the need for painting as a protective skin to a building. Well, they all seem to be valid, but as you know, there is only one right answer. Go ahead, hit it in your MCQ, which is available on the FB link. And I'll move on to quiz question number 2. Quiz number 2 is the 82 principle using life cycle analysis means. You just heard Seema Samshetty tell you, but which is the right one? Option 1, the initial cost of waterproofing is just 2%, but the repairs can be high as 80%. Option 2, the cost of waterproofing material is 2%, and the process and labor cost is 80%. Option 3, the initial cost of waterproofing is 2%, and it gives 80% guaranteed protection from seepage. And option 4, the initial cost of waterproofing is 2%, and the lifetime savings is 80%. Now, this is a nice, tricky one, but if you've been listening to our brand partner, the Brand Champ, you should have no difficulty getting the right answer. With that, all right, I think we should continue, and fingers crossed that second part of the presentation is smooth flowing. Not like water's entering the cracks of your structure, but going off the waterproof buildings.
I'm glad to be back over here for continuing this further session. Now let's see about the waterproofing of building structures. The building main foundation stone of our building is the basement. So the basements, they are related with some of the issues with this as we use the basement for the car parking areas, then they are also having some kind of leakage issues. The water comes from the construction joints or the concrete mass itself. And then the nearby landscaping or the pipelines or some water bodies are nearby over the project site. And the risk increased into the basement levels. And of course, this contaminated soil content part of the soil mass, which all leads to the basement leakages and the low dampness problems inside the buildings. To protect the basement structures, so the proper waterproofing should be done at the design stage itself with the proper system selection. The first we should have to understand what purpose we are going to use the basement. What is the grade of the basement usage? Are we going to use for the car parking or the storage or the plant rooms areas? Depending on this grade usages and the nearby your soil condition and the water table condition part, it has to be derived into 3 categories. One system is called as a type A barrier protection system. So in this waterproofing system, the material has to be applied either from the external or the internal side of the concrete mass. The second category is called as a structurally integral protection. This is nothing but to make your concrete waterproof. We are going to add this integral waterproofing compounds inside this at the time of making concrete. And the third category is this drained protection. So here we are going to provide as a drainage boards inside this your basement from the internal side, so that water will percolate over here and it is stored at this drainage board and will collect it from a sump at one location from our project site. So as per the defining your basement grade usage and the water table conditions, this These three categories can be combined or the singly they can used onto the projects. So now let's see what is meant by a barrier protection. Barrier protection is nothing but that we are going to provide a waterproofing membrane before the concrete laying, so that the concrete mass will stick to the waterproofing membrane and it leads to a bonded system. And here, as an unbonded system, their waterproofing membrane or the membrane is not going to adhere to the concrete substrate. The important part for this bonded membranes is that during the soil settlement, the membrane will stick to a concrete mass and the cracks or the water percolation will not form for this raft or the concrete surface. So this is the mostly system as a bonded membrane system is to be generally used for the confined areas. Confined areas are those where you do not have access from the other side of the retaining wall to go over there and do the waterproofing. So that the internal side of this retaining wall, you are going to do this waterproofing membrane applications. So this is a retaining wall and this is your raft. Before the raft concreting, you are going to lay this waterproofing membranes. So in this picture, you can show over here. And this is an engineering drawing. You can see here, this has a pink color is showing the membrane applications from the raft and as well as for the retaining wall. And once you cast the concrete on this, the membrane will substrate adhere to the concrete mass. So this type of, and the second system is called as a for the unconfined areas where you are having an access from the other side of the retaining wall. There you can go for this liquid applied waterproofing membranes. And these are some of the main properties important for this, their good tensile and the adhesion properties and their good adhesion with the substrate mass. The second type is this, the structural integral protection. As we have defined, this has to make as a waterproof concrete. This has been widely used as a crystalline system materials in the form of admixture, in the form of dry shake or in the form of coating on the concrete surface. The crystalline material will work. It remains as a dormant inside the concrete mass while when you add it into the concrete at the time of your making. So you can see here in this picture as a magnified image of the plain concrete. The some of the gaps or the voids over here, it remains as it is. Now when the water comes inside the structure, this crystals gets react with the water and then it starts forming as a crystal formations. And during this as a all the gaps or the voids get covered with this crystalline concrete material. Let's see about this podium waterproofing. As podium itself is a big subject, as we are going to use this as we are having various utilities over here as per as their associated problems. So we use the podium substrate where you are having the various loading part coming as due to this expansion and contraction, concrete slab gets crack formations. And these are having this another utilities like water bodies and the planter boxes. And during the planter boxes or the landscape, these plant roots are also coming in they also get penetrate inside this concrete mass. And also we use this as a hardscape for the car parking areas. So these are the utilities. So that's why to cover all these utility points, the system has to be adhered all these utilities at one go and their problems at initial stage itself. So to define as a system for this, for the hardscape, the waterproofing membrane has to be take care of all these good tensile properties, adhesion properties, and their elongation properties to take care of all these thermal stresses. This concrete membrane get covered with this protection screen and along with the control joints. And if you are providing the landscape or the planter box system, then they are going to add this as a waterproofing membrane above the soil mass till to the soil mass, and with along this proper their positioning and the fixing of the features. With this as a drainage pipes and the drain boards, soil mass and the vegetation growth will come up. So that this material, your waterproofing material should be has to be antidote properties, so that water roots will not penetrate from your waterproofing membrane. And this is an application, simple application process which starts from your the surface cleaning. Then if they are having the crack repair, if they are having some cracks onto that, we have to repair the cracks. In the wall floor junctions, we have to provide the angle fillets. If we are having the various upstands and the pipe penetrations, then the water outlets, that has to be detailed properly at the time of application itself. And the application of your waterproofing membrane, either in the form of coating or the spray or the squeegee pad applications. Once the coating is ready, then we have to go for this ponding test to check this waterproof water is not leaking from any substrate or from the coating itself. And then the coating is going to cover it with this geotextile and with the concrete screed. And the concrete screed has to be laid in the form of slope towards the drain outlet. Next, come up with this roofs and the terrace waterproofing surface areas. So conventionally, we use as a brickbat cover system. So instead of this brickbat cover is having lots of associated problems. So nowadays we are having the new technologies that instead of brickbat cover, we can use as a foam system. So that it's as a PU foam kind of material is come up. That has to be spread, and within a fraction of a second it gets foam formation and gives you a density of the bricks itself. And then this will work as a insulation come and then waterproofing properties. Then we have to cover this as a waterproofing coating and then geotextile and the screed formation. And this coming as to the green buildings and the sustainable buildings, the green ratings also we are having. So that to derive this, we need to do as a insulation along with the waterproofing systems. So that insulation, both the dual to occur this dual system of purposes, we should have to apply as a low energy conservation system. So to optimize this low energy conservation, we should have to understand the first of all the U value, R value of the buildings and the surroundings, and on the basis of that we are going to provide this puff formation or the foam formations to minimize the temperatures by 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, which will works as a insulation. And then again we are going to cover it with a waterproofing systems along with their proper application system methodologies. So this is the overall system that we are going to apply for this to get the insulation and the waterproofing systems. And as in Dr. Fixit, we provide the services to all communities and across all business segments. We are going to provide as a end-to-end waterproofing solutions from the design and the specifications, then the requirement of the training and the courses and the technical supports requirement for your applications of the installation of the waterproofing systems onto the sites under the umbrella of customer services group. Another also we are having as a Dr. Fixit Experience Center, which is a state-of-art of visualization of waterproofing technology showcase. And this center is available right now in Mumbai, Kochi and Chennai. And along with this, Dr. Fixit training centers, which gives you the hands-on application of this training part. And to coming to at the end of this slides, with the architecture is it speaks about the buildings, there's the time and the place, but yearn for the timelessness. So to derive all these buildings architectures, we should have, as an architect, we should have to design for the present with an awareness of the past and for a future which is essentially unknown. This is the most important part we should have to consider at the time of designing the buildings. And you can call us you can go for our website details and the telephone numbers. Thank you.
We got some really wonderful questions, and you're a rock star because the kind of questions that have been asked are phenomenal. I'm not going to take it in any particular order. I'm going to take the interesting ones. And we have 10 minutes, so I'd like you to give a brief answer. The rules of our Q&A is you answer. All other questions we will share with you, and you can answer in depth, and we upload on the archive. So nobody goes home empty-handed. सबको जवाब मिलेगा, लेकिन इंटरेस्टिंग वाले हम शो पे कराएंगे, ठीक है? So let me ask you from Shashi Malhotra of BIT Mesra, if the construction is done without using waterproofing membrane, is it possible to install it later? If not, then what is the solution?
Yes, if it's not has been used at the initial stage, you can apply during this time of the buildings. So you can apply as a layer waterproofing in the form of paint or the coating applications from the external or as the internal side of the walls. We can do it, definitely, we can do it.
That's possible then. And here's a question from Vaishnav Kadam, JJ College, Mumbai. I wonder whether waterproofing is considered in low humidity regions. If yes, what kind of method is preferred?
So waterproofing is related to the rainwater areas, then the temperature conditions in that particular area and depending on their locations. So it has been decided on that particular background and it has to be taken care from the below ground to the top of the building structures.
I see. We have a question from Pujita Chalamalasetti from Vaishnavi School of Architecture. They were featured on the show today. Wood flooring, the laminated wooden flooring. Wood flooring gets damaged by water. How do we protect that actually?
Wood flooring generally requires as a water repellent coatings because the water should not get inside this wooden surface. So that's why we can use as a water repellent materials, not as a waterproof material.
So it's not available.
Yes. They are available in the coating formats.
Okay.
That you can apply on this wooden floors.
Okay. Abhay got a very basic question. Abhay is a very, very involved person on the show, amongst many others. We got a whole lot of them, but I just remember his name now because he talked to me offline. What's the application process for Dr. Fixit for waterproofing? What is the application process?
Application process for this, depending on the waterproofing material, what kind of material you are going to use. If you are going to use as a liquid material, that you are going to apply in the form of paint, like how we do for the brush, roller or the materials. And if you are going to use as a waterproofing membranes, that depending on the type of membrane, either it has to be applied by a torch gun or a heat welded membrane, or it has been some are the self-adhesives, or the membrane can be sticks directly on the surface itself.
Okay.
So yes, depending on this materials, we can apply this.
All right. Here is Siddhi Sangai from Bharati Vidyapeeth, that is in Pune. We saw floods last year and many basements got affected. So is there any after solution for the buildings which were built and they have to be treated?
Yes, there are having the solutions for all kind of problems. So first we should have to understand the building problems. Then we have, if required, we need to do this diagnosis part and then we give the proper waterproofing as well as the repair solutions to the particular surface areas.
So what you're saying in a short sentence is, even if it has been inundated in a flood inundated area,
yes,
we can.
So we can.
So it prevents the future leakages.
Yes.
Fabulous. So that might be slightly more complicated than just a virgin ground up.
So that has been require a proper diagnosis of the surface areas and all these things.
This is happening all over India because of climatic change. There are so many places which don't have water runoffs now. They're all concretized. It happened in Chennai. It happened, of course, in Kashmir. It happened in Bombay in the deluge. It's happening everywhere, all cities.
After this, any kind of natural calamities or whatever maybe the building distresses, we are having the all kind of solutions. But before giving the solution, we should have to give a proper diagnosis of the buildings.
Of
and
course.
then we can give the systematic repair solutions for that.
Zeel Shah, and this is something we had a town hall meeting, and Zeel mentioned this even there. She was interested in knowing what is the cost and life period of waterproofing for basements.
Cost, and this is the depending on the how much area you are having and the life cycle of your building systems and what kind of materials you are going to use. As specifically for the basement areas, it has to be ideally should be for depending on your soil conditions, then the water table conditions, and all these other parameters. So based on that, we can do these things, waterproofing proper solutions for this. And there are many life cycle. If we consider, it has been more than 20 years also. And if you are having some superficial solutions, if you are giving, then you are having the less lifetime for this waterproofing maintenance.
But as a matter of rule of thumb, in your presentation, you did talk about 82 principle.
Yes.
And now that the quiz is over, I can say that 2% is your input cost at the time of construction, which can prevent an 80% replacement and repair cost. So 2% then could be taken a rule of thumb if you want to know in a project. If you want to do proper integral waterproofing and everything,
cost for materials,
2%. So Zeel, that's your answer. You could just think of it as 2%, but obviously one hat does not fit all, and depends on the project, depends on the area, depends on the conditions. But by and large, if you got a rule of thumb, I think 2% is something we can go with. Am I right, Seema?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Shall we take one last question? There are many more, but for this show, can waterproofing be done for prefabricated blocks and insert in the site?
Yes, we can do also these prefabricated blocks waterproofing systems on that one. And the only thing is for the precast systems or the constructions, we should have to make more attention to the joints and their sealants at the particular joint areas. We can do that.
That was from Sharanya Chetty of School of Planning and Architecture, JNAFU, Hyderabad. So, Seema, thank you for being on the show. It's been really wonderful. Thank you for all the trouble. But be ready to answer more questions. And we have told the students that please let the questions flow. By the way, I must tell you, we put an advanced post always as to what is coming up. And we said, this is what you're going to learn from Dr. Fixit in the area of waterproofing. And that has generated a lot of interest. So thank you for living up to the promise. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Ramesh. And thank you all the students and the faculties who have joined this program.
Right. I think I will now be going into the heart-to-heart section. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. Heart-to-heart. Right. Students, you know what is a heart-to-heart. I don't need to tell you. Dil ki baat. In other words, we have with us today, you all may not be able to recognize him by face, but he is architect Sandeep Jha. We have with us architect Sandeep Jha, who studied in 1994 from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. He did his master's in urban planning from BIT Mesra. He heads a team of professionals at Axis. That's the name of the firm that he's the principal architect of, and he heads in Ranchi, and they're all over the east of India. He has vast design experience in campus designs, institutional and real estate housing, commercial and office buildings, resorts and recreational, healthcare, etc. They have a special interest in socially responsive projects. He's also the chairman of the Jharkhand chapter of the IIA. We do not want to come between you and architect Sandeep Jha. That orange blurb is nothing but to tell you questions. You can have questions of even the architects. Last time we heard Apurva. A lot of you must have had questions in your head. Put it down in the comment section. We will pass it to them. They might even actually have a conversation with you. And whether it was Ninad from the first show or Apurva from the last, or it is to Sandeep Jha on this show, you can query these professionals, whatever comes to your mind. But without waiting anymore, let's get it from Sandeep Jha.
At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Ramesh and Amita Iyengar for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And especially, I would like to congratulate both of you and the entire team at Locator for the Silver Jubilee anniversary of Locator. And it's a wonderful opportunity to interact with the students on such an occasion. Today, what I would like to talk to you would be specifically a topic from the virtue of my so many years in practice, almost 20 years now, as to how to make a niche for yourself. Well, it's obvious that you need to be really very good and, in fact, exceptional in some aspect of architecture if you want to really make a niche within in the profession. Now, to begin with, as you are students and, in fact, the fourth year, final year students of architecture, so the first thing which comes to my mind and which I always share with my students as to what do you do once you're out of the college? To this, I would like to narrate a small story which architect Charles Correa said in his convocation address at SPA a long time back, that Mr. Talati, a very young architect, was working in Corbusier's office in Paris. This was way back in the 60s. So one day after a few years of working there, he said, he told Corbusier that, sir, I want to go back to Bombay. So Corbusier asked him, what are you going to do there, young man? He said, I'll go there and I'll definitely find some job and do some work there. So Corbusier said, okay, young man, you pay attention to my words. You know, whenever you reach a railway station, there are always so many trains leaving. Don't jump onto any train just because it is leaving. Make sure it's your train. Now, this is a wonderful piece of advice which all of you need to understand. Especially in architecture, we should not choose in fact, the first job as our mentors just because wherever we get the job opportunity, or if we are in a hurry or we're looking after money or something. What is very important that, especially these days, you have social media and everything, which gives you so much you can ponder into the works of people, of architects, what sort of work they are doing, different architectural firms. So you should study those and you should try to see as to what sort of work really interests you. Or I would say, which sort of offices do the work which excite you. So you choose those offices and then you go there and you really try your best to get in there. Now, getting in itself is the most tough thing, in the right place at the right time. So once you're there, then you need to really work hard on try to get hold of from your mentors, from your seniors, on working all different types of work. All possible different types of work would, of course, be the design exercises, then the working drawings, and even the making list of drawings is something very important which you need to really learn. It's very difficult to do it yourself if you haven't learned in such offices. So it's very important to go through the entire process. Then doing site visits. Site visits are very, very immense. Often they get a bit lazy that working in its office itself gives a good atmosphere. So we often do not really indulge in site visits and all. As architects, as young architects, I often see that. But it is very important that you go to the site, talk to the masons, talk to the craftsmen, everyone who's there, and try to learn from them as to how do they actually construct the buildings that we design, isn't it? It's a very different thing, which in college we are not really taught in a very, very depth manner as practical exercise. So, but then there's several opportunities these days. You can attend hands-on workshops, cost-effective technologies, and different all sorts of technologies where you need to learn those things. Then I would say, when I talk of creating a niche for yourself, it's very important that you specialize into something. When I say specialize, I don't really mean you to do a master's. I see often children, students, after their graduation, they're just opting for masters without really knowing as to what does their interest lie into. So it is very important, unless you really chalk that out, sorted that out, there's no point in doing a 2 years master there. So instead of that, you can go for, if you are suppose you are interested in green building, sustainability and all, then you have to go for a workshop by Griha or IGBC, and then you can turn into a Griha certified professional or IGBC certified professional. There's a lot of demand. People, along with your architectural works, if you can specialize in these things, that it's a big asset for you, for any office, or even when you set up your own practice. Then construction management, interior design is something, especially being from a tier 2 city in Ranchi, what I feel that non-architects are actually practicing interior design and they're earning a good lot, while the architects, the young architects, they have less exposure in interior works and all. So you could specialize in that by just you're working in some office which does a lot of interior design work, visiting the sites for some time, so that can give you a definite edge over the others. Then, as I said, you can work along. Then there's one more thing which you need to really learn in offices, so that when you set up your own practice, it becomes much easier to work with team, to work with co-professional sub-consultants like the electrical consultants, structural consultants, MEP consultants. So you need to really visit them, try to learn with them how do they actually amalgamate the architecture along with the services and all. And then you need to visit the sites also to learn these things. So these will give you a very, very big edge when you start on your own. And then, as I said, to create a niche for yourself will be much easier to do that way. Another small topic which I'm going to, what I wanted to briefly touch upon, which I talked to Ramesh and Amita, was the issue of giving back to community. I always felt that as architects, we have a very responsible role to play. And similarly, the people who are meaning mass in public, the rural areas and all, if you see, everybody has a right, isn't it, to live in good spaces designed by architects or study in schools designed by architects, but often they do not get opportunity. So we as the architects need to play a role. I started my career, in fact, I spent the first year after my college from SPA in a remote village in Rajasthan, in the Banswara district of Rajasthan, which most of you would not even heard of this district. And I was staying in a village there. And we were doing, in fact, we used to run around different school buildings. It was a project called Lok Jumbish Pariyojana, People's Movement, where we, as architects, we were also social activists, where we used to talk to villagers and make their Bhavan Nirman Samiti. Then we used to train the women as masons in the construction works. So these things, let me tell you, give an immense level of satisfaction, which you otherwise would be very difficult to find otherwise in a conventional practice mode. Then, so you could work for NGOs, meaning I'm talking of just a part of your entire time, not your entire time. As we say, corporate social responsibility, similarly you can say architect social responsibility. We also have some social responsibility. So as a part of that, we can spend some time working for NGOs and other such organizations who generally have a crunch of resources, because a lot of time we end up working for our clients who do not pay us, even if they have the money. So might as well do work for some people who are really short of money, but who deserve our input as designers. And it feels like it gives a different level of happiness in doing that. As being the chapter chairman of IAA Jharkhand chapter, I must share with you that we are doing a lot of work trying to work as architects, as a community together, like doing a specific street line. There are a lot of very interesting people who are doing this public. Especially I would mention architect Abhin Chaudhary, the Kolkata-based architect, who's doing wonderful work with getting ownership social buildings, getting people from a neighborhood together and trying to build something which most people get benefited out of it, which otherwise would not have been possible. It would have been just any other simple, very less important government building. So these are the type of things which I would say that as students, when you come out into the profession, you should spend some time in that. So it may not give you money, but it will give you much more things which almost, as you say, money cannot buy you everything. So with these words, I would like to again say a lot of big thank you to Ramesh and Amita for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Well, Sandeep, those heartfelt words are not going to be missed by any of our student friends. What you're saying, in short, is have a great life, have a commercially successful life, have a distinctive life, but don't forget, I love what you said, even the poor have a right to live in good dwelling units. So who's going to do it for them? They'll never be able to afford the kind of talent that we are putting out in this country. So it is up to you students to want to go out and also put in your bit and return to society. And the earlier you start, the better it is. You'll have a long, productive life. Look at Sandeep. He was smiling. He's happy. By the way, little known fact about Sandeep, it is part-time. He teaches children theater. He's a theater personality. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for being on the show. I'm going to now request one of my teammates, our project head, Asha, to take over from here because she's going to come out with the... Asha, over to you. What are you sharing? Right. Now get ready to meet the winners. And top 10 contenders in no particular order. Let's please note that, because if you want to know the 4, don't everybody start applauding and say, oh, these are the top 4. No, they're not. They've been jumbled up just to keep the excitement going. So you got Yunus Syed. Round of applause for him. Prahasita Kunda. Mudit Jain. Avneet Kaur. Maisra Shah. And we have 5 more contenders. And they are Pratik Raut, Anamika Tutta, Sharanya Chetty, Saksham Garg, and Zeel Shah. So out of these 10, let the drums roll, let the clapping begin to announce the 4 quiz winners of the day. And they are Pratik Raut, Zeel Shah, Yunus Syed, and Sharanya Chetty, which means we need to examine how slim and how quick are your fingers, because others have also got it all right, and many others have got it all right, but you guys managed to get it in as per the computer fastest. So good luck to you, and await those vouchers which are coming. That's it from the studio today. And what do we have? That's all today, folks. Before I remind you, next week is another interesting session, and that is from the leader, global leader in electrical solutions. You know the brand Legrand. They are big, they are very deep, and they are technologically advanced. So they're going to be talking about IoT, which is the Internet of Things. You already know what that is, but hear it from the leaders. So with those few words, thanking my entire team. By the way, one quick reminder, we have, by the way, behind the scenes, we have so many people working. I hope to introduce my team to you one day. There is one lady who's been curating your questions, who's been collecting it and quickly passing it to us in the show. It's quite a technological feat. Vidya, thank you for that. And she sent in a reminder saying, all your interesting questions are going to be answered, because there were quite a few. Obviously, there's a subject which roused questions and questions and questions. So see you next week, same time, same place, next week, that is 27th. Please tell your friends they're missing something. And if they want to stay boned up, and if they want to win, they got to be here. Thank you. Have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. and a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.